Of all the things I have freeze dried, I think my absolute favorite thing to do is stock my spice cabinet with freeze dried herbs and seasonings. And not only are they absolutely delicious, it's also really easy to make your own seasoning blends and herb blends with the freeze dryer. And I am just about out of all of my freeze dried herbs and seasonings. So I'm really excited to restock my spice cabinet with you today as part of the freeze dried February collaboration with the Inquisitive Farm Wife. You actually have an opportunity to win a Harvest Right freeze dryer as part of this collaboration, so be sure to check out the description box for more information about that. Okay, first up are some freeze-dried herbs. So here I am just washing and preparing some cilantro and parsley, and it is February, so these are not herbs that came out of my garden. I bought these from the grocery store, and that is what's really cool about freeze drying or any food preservation really, is that you don't have to grow everything you preserve or raise everything that you preserve. You can absolutely freeze dry food that you get from the grocery store. So here I have some cilantro and flat Italian parsley that I got from the grocery store, and I'm first just washing them under some cool water and using a clean towel to pat them dry. And as I wash, dry, and even load them onto the trays, I am removing any discolored leaves or any parts that look like they just need to be removed. I always freeze dry any part of the herb that I would actually cook with fresh. So for these leafy herbs like parsley and cilantro, I'm freezing the whole thing, including those tender stems. If I'm freeze drying basil, for example, I usually remove the leaves and just keep the really soft and young tender stems. What makes freeze drying herbs a little bit tricky is loading them on the trays because they can be a little unruly, and you generally don't want the food any higher than the edges of the tray, but that's pretty much impossible with herbs. So what I do is I usually just tear the herbs in half, or you could even chop them up a little bit. I would recommend a rough chop. You don't want to chop herbs so much that they bruise, because that way they become discolored and it kind of loses their flavor a little bit. So I try to keep them intact as much as possible when I'm loading them on the trays. But because they don't fit on the trays perfectly, I found that I usually can't freeze dry as many herbs at a time as I would want to. I think I could fit a few more on the trays, but I just bought 4 packs of herbs from the store, so I just stuck with that. What makes freeze-dried herbs so good is that they retain all of the freshness and natural oils, but to do that, it is really important that you remember to drop the dry temperature to 95 degrees Fahrenheit. Most Harvest Right machines have a default setting for about 125, but by dropping it to 95 degrees, that lower temperature preserves the oils and it helps protect the delicate leaves of your herbs, making them stay really flavorful and fresh. Also, if your herbs are hitting the top of the shelves, you can take a layer of cheesecloth and just put it on top of the trays. That can help prevent any transfer of the herbs to the inside of the machine. I can't find my cheesecloth anywhere, so I just skipped it, but you can definitely do that. Okay, it is the next day and the herbs are completely dry. And I know it's a little hard to tell that it's the next day because I'm wearing the exact same outfit. I did laundry and somehow I ended up in the same outfit, but it took about, I'd say, 16 to 18 hours for these herbs to dry. So now that they are out of the freeze dryer, I am simply just putting them into some mason jars. I usually don't crush up the herbs when I put them into the jars, simply just to save a little bit of time. So I just shove them in there as best as I can. And then as I use them, I pull them out and just crush them with my hands as I put them in my recipes or on top of my food for garnish. I am packaging these herbs for short-term storage, and I'm going to talk more about short versus long-term storage for freeze-dried foods in a few minutes. But let's talk about how to actually use these herbs. So whenever I'm using freeze-dried herbs, I just put them right into the recipe. There is no need to reconstitute them with any water. There's so little water in herbs anyway. If you were to put them in a bowl of water, they would get really mushy, and a lot of those oils would release into the water, so they would lose their potency. So what I do is I take a handful of herbs and I put them right into my recipes. But what's super important, if you are doing this over food cooking on the stove, do not hold the jar of freeze-dried herbs over the hot food because the steam will start to reconstitute what's in the jar. So do that away from the steam. Just put them into your hand and then put them from your hand into the food. They also make an excellent garnish on top of food because it takes a little moisture to reconstitute them. So often I just crumble freeze-dried herbs right over whatever it is I'm serving just to add a little bit of color and flavor. I package them all cilantro in one jar and all parsley in another jar, but you could make any combination you prefer. I think it'd be really fun to make a freeze-dried Italian herb blend. I just don't have access to all those herbs right now, but I'm going to try that this summer. Okay, next up, I am making a freeze-dried paprika paprika substitute. So traditional paprika is made with dried peppers. Often it's made with bell peppers, and some varieties include other types of even hot peppers or smoked peppers. So this isn't an exact substitute, but it's a really great seasoning to keep in your spice cabinet. And again, these bell peppers are from the store. I got these at Sam's Club at a pretty good price. So I just washed and dried the peppers, removed any discolored parts, and I am just doing a rough chop. You could chop them more finely. They might dry a little faster that way, but I'm always trying to balance the realities of time versus my desire to have preserved food. And on this day, I had 30 minutes flat to get all of this done. So I just chopped them as fast as I could, which meant they had to be a rough chop. And spoiler alert, it worked out just fine. One of the cool things about freeze drying is you have all these separate trays, so you don't have to do an entire load of one food. So while I'm also making the peppers or the paprika, I'm going to make some onion powder too. Now, if you're wondering why I lit the candle, I recently heard that if you light a candle when you chop onions, it can prevent your eyes from watering. And maybe it's placebo, I don't know, but it totally worked. But what I'm doing here is chopping up peppers, again, a rough chop to save some time, and then adding that to this load in the freeze dryer. Here's the thing though about combining foods in one load for the freeze dryer. Sometimes the flavors can transfer, so don't mix ingredients that wouldn't taste good together. So you wouldn't want to freeze dry, say, onions and strawberries, because you definitely don't want your strawberries to taste like onions. But I don't care if my paprika substitute tastes a little bit like onion. So I'm totally fine putting them in the freeze dryer together. With this, I'm also throwing in a small batch of garlic for freeze-dried garlic powder. So this little tool here, this is a silicone garlic peeler. You just put the garlic clove in there, roll it on the counter, and it takes the peel right off. It's kind of like magic. So when you're freeze-drying garlic, make sure you get that peel off, and then you need to at least pierce the garlic. I think it's better to just smash it or chop it if you have time. I definitely don't have time to mince a bunch of garlic, so I just used the flat edge of the knife and smashed it, and it also worked out just fine. Any food that has a skin like a pepper or that is thick like garlic needs to be pierced or cut or chopped, so that way the water or the liquid in it can be removed through the freeze drying process. When you fill those freeze dryer trays, remember to fill them as evenly as possible so that way they dry evenly. If one is really packed tightly and the other one doesn't have much in it, they can dry inconsistently, which can be a problem when you go to store everything. This took, I'd say, about 18 hours again or so to freeze dry. And now there's a bit of a rinse and repeat action going on here. I am simply just taking the freeze dried food, putting it into my blender and turning it into a powder. If you have a bigger blender, it will work better, but I only have this NutriBullet. It works fine. I just have to do it in batches. So while I am blending everything up, let's talk about storage. So you'll notice as I am blending and storing everything, I'm just putting on a simple lid. That is fine for very short-term storage, which is how I use these. You wouldn't want to just put an airtight lid on and call it a day and store it in your pantry for 20 years. That's good for a couple of weeks, even a couple of months. Ideally, even for short-term storage, you'd want to put a desiccant pouch in it. For longer storage, I think it's ideal to put them in a jar and then vacuum seal the lid. But the reason why I don't do that is because I open and close these sometimes a couple of times a day. So I just don't want to have to vacuum seal it every single time. So that means these need to be stored away from any moisture. So I keep them up in a cabinet with that airtight lid on. Again, I think it's worth repeating that when you are using your freeze-dried herbs and your seasonings, don't hold the jar over what you're cooking because all of that moisture will rehydrate your seasoning blends. I don't do a whole lot of freeze drying for really long-term storage. Most of my freeze drying is for immediate use. But if you do want to store your herbs and seasonings for long-term storage, I'd say a year or more, I recommend putting them in a Mylar bag, vacuum sealing it, and making sure that you also put an oxygen absorber in that bag. That will preserve them for 25 years, maybe even more. That's just not something I really use freeze drying for, so I don't do that too often. And like the herbs, you can take the onion powder, garlic powder, the bell peppers, and mix them all together and make your own seasoning blends. You could throw in some freeze-dried herbs and make some really unique seasoning and spice blends. To use the onion powder, garlic powder, and my paprika substitute, I just throw them right into my recipes, just like I would any seasoning or spice from the store. The only real difference is these are exceptional. I always say that these ingredients are the secret weapon or the secret ingredient to my cooking. They're so unexpected and they are delicious. And once you have freeze-dried herbs and spice blends like this, you will never go back to the store-bought stuff.